Alright, thanks for tuning in again. We're doing the third MCU film. This one's called Iron Man 2, and it is exactly like Iron Man 1. If you literally were to watch them side by side, it's pretty much the same movie all over again, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Tony Stark is now an established superhero. He's putting on this thing called the Stark Expo. Now everybody likes him. They don't care that there's a reckless billionaire who's been very irresponsible, now has the power to basically take out anybody that he wants with this heavily armed suit. But everyone likes him because he's funny and charismatic. So now it's breeding competition. Basically, now that Iron Man's been created, why don't we create more Iron Man suits? Why can't other people do it? And you're seeing that all across the globe, people are trying to replicate this, and no one's quite doing it correctly, even though somebody did it in the first movie with less time, and doesn't really make any sense. But anyway, that's Iron Man's thing, is in these two movies, for some reason, he just ends up taking on more Iron Man suits. That's kind of how it goes. So the bad guy in this story is Whiplash. The things you need to know about him are his father used to work with Howard Stark, which is Tony's dad, and they both created the arc reactor. However, when it was created, Stark ended up getting most of the credit, and so this guy didn't end up getting the credit, didn't end up getting paid for any of the work, and therefore led to a life of poverty, and his son basically got to see what the Stark family did to his family. And so he's kind of trying to become like the anti-Iron Man. He's going to use the same technology that Iron Man's going to use, but he's going to use it for bad instead of for good. He'll eventually team up with Justin Hammer, who's one of the, think of him as another Tony Stark. He's building a bunch of suits as well, but he can't quite do it right. And so he recruits this guy, Whiplash, to help him make good suits. In the end, he creates drones that are evil and a bigger suit that has these giant whips for fun aesthetics. But the best part of this film is Tony's best friend, Rhodey, finally gets his own suit. And this suit becomes what we call War Machine. War Machine is like the cooler, better, more awesome version of Iron Man, because he gets like a gun on his shoulder, like the Gatling gun. He has like these missiles. He's just this tank version of Iron Man. Way cooler. Anyway, the reason why he gets the suit in the first place, though, is Tony has started getting poisoned by his suit. It's starting to kill him because obviously he has a big chunk of metal and energy going on in his chest, and his body can't accept it. So the very thing that's keeping him alive, if you remember from the last video, the very thing that's keeping him alive is the very thing that's also killing him. And so he gets drunk on his birthday party, and Rhodey has to beat him up by getting into an Iron Man suit. And they get to fight to Another One Bites the Dust. Awesome fight scene. Rhodey gets his own suit, goes to one of the enemy robotic companies, gets it souped up with just a bunch of new gear, and so he gets the War Machine suit. Turns out that the bad guy has infiltrated that other bad guy, and he's making a bunch of drones because he can't actually make Iron Man suits. So then at the Stark Expo one day, all of these drones decide to go off, go bad, try to hurt people. And so now Tony has to fight all of these drone robots that don't have people in them and the big Whiplash guy at the same time. So War Machine finally has to come into the picture, and Tony realizes that he can't do everything by himself, which then will breed the Avengers later on. So we get to see some humility happen in Tony Stark's life. We get to see some team effort going on. And we do finally get to see him and Pepper Potts become kind of a thing at the end. That's pretty much all you need to know about Iron Man 2, is his friend gets a suit, and Iron Man's suits get a little bit better, and he fights another big version of Iron Man, and he wins. The other cool thing that the MCU ties in, at one point, Tony saves a young boy at the Stark Expo that's wearing an Iron Man helmet. That will eventually become Peter Parker later on in the MCU. They have officially confirmed that is canon. He's a big tech fan, and he grows up to become Spider-Man. That's who Peter Parker is. So anyway, fun little tie-in there. This will be the last time we see Iron Man until the Avengers. So then we have two more films. We got Thor and Captain America, and then the Avengers will finally team up. So tune in tomorrow, and we'll talk about Thor. So thanks.